There is this issue that have been a nightmare, and it's been recurring in a very unpleasant cycle. That's the issue of the farmers' herdsmen crisis. What's the Nigerian Immigration Service doing to check this? Because it seems the violence is going unabated.
The reality of the situation is that the conflict is real. It has to happen, but not as exaggerated in the media. I'm not going to be a member of...
Are you suggesting the killings are not real?
No. Let me tell you the stories. Most of them are political. We have... law enforcement have arrested many people who are not herders, who are not farmers. I think it's a duty of media to tell the truth about this. But
so what's
the conflict in Nigeria is more political. You find out in one community, it is the same community tribe people who kill one another, and the story is hardest farmers. Social media will fix a picture of farmers and clashing, or hardest are killing farmers. You find out the social picture is for 5 years. I have seen picture of hardest, which does not even belong to Nigeria, in the social media. But despite that, our duty as immigration officers is to guard the border and to make sure foreigners don't participate in this crime. I've had noise. Foreigners are involved. How many foreigners have we arrested? All the people we arrested, majority of the clashes, you find out Nigerians.
So who are these killer headers?
It could be internal crisis between farmers, but the rest, a lot of them is politics. I'm telling you, go and check the figures of those who are arrested. Check their nationality. Some of them you find out even they are not even farmers.
The baffling dimension to this is the possession of weapons, sophisticated weapons. So that is quite worrisome. So has the Nigerian Immigration Service been able to track down the flow of these illicit weapons?
You know, our duty is not to track weapons, but we do. Even just along Semi border, just last week, we arrested Beninese with firearms we handed to police. So during our patrol, when we come across people with firearms, according to our ability, we will seize and give to the appropriate authorities. But proliferation of firearms is not a Nigerian problem. It's a problem that comes from the Maghreb. You will understand very well that when Gaddafi government collapsed, a lot of weapons got spread around the world. It's our duty to look at it at a regional level so that we can fight this crime, not just as a country. I think that's why Mr. President was in Chad to have discussion with his counterparts in the Lake Chad area. So we should not look at it as only a Nigerian problem, but we should look at it as a regional issue.
Now, 2019 elections is around the corner, and there have been concerns even from international observers about the chances of having a violence-free poll. What special provision is the Nigerian Immigration Service bringing on board to ensure we have a free, fair, and peaceful transition come 2019 general elections?
Security about election is the full responsibility of the police. But thank God, Mr. President this time included immigration to join the team to ensure that election in Nigeria is free and fair, because we have a role to play. Our role is that we must make sure non-Nigerians are not voted and they don't vote. And we must make sure during election we don't allow people to infiltrate our territories from neighboring countries. That's why all the elections that took place, smaller elections like in Katsina senatorial election or in any state that has a border, would ensure during the time of election we guard the border from bringing other people from outside. And in every police station, there will be immigration officer who will make sure non-Nigerians don't vote.
There's been this controversy on the use of diplomatic passports. What's the legal status for obtaining diplomatic passports? Who are those qualified?
Those who are first people who are entitled to diplomatic passport are members of the diplomatic community. It means staff of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs who are considered to be diplomat. Once you are employed in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as a diplomat, you are going on foreign posting, you are traveling, you are entitled to diplomatic passport, including your spouse. Secondly, governors, Mr. President, Vice President, Senate President, the judiciary side of it, they are all entitled to diplomatic passport. But some of them will lose it after they leave office. I assure you, President, Vice President, the Senate President, they keep their passport even after leaving office. We have traditional rulers who are chairmen of their state council. in each state, they are entitled to have diplomatic passport. But if the chairmanship is not rotational. But what is important is ability to retrieve them back after your tenure. We have taken it very seriously. We have written to National Assembly, and I'm glad National Assembly is complying, that once it is over, nobody is given his benefit until he returns his diplomatic passport. They are doing. If you don't return it at the border, we have been retrieving. Once you present your diplomatic passport or official passport, we look at you, we know you are not qualified, either because of age, if you are a public servant, or you are no longer a member of the House, we retrieve it. We collect it from the airport. That's what we're doing.
So before we wind down this conversation now, what's your vision for the Nigerian Immigration Service?
Our vision has started coming to be a reality. I want to see an immigration officer who is modern, well-equipped, and highly motivated to contribute to the overall security and prosperity of Nigeria. Because when we control borders very well, when we control those people who enter our territory, not those who enter to destroy the economy, but those who contribute to Nigerian development, then immigration has become relevant. That's my mission.
The Comptroller General of the Nigerian Immigration Service, Mr. Mohammed Babandede, thank you so much for making our time to be part of this episode of Question Time. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much.
Wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you.
And that will be all on this episode of Question Time from Channels TV's Global Headquarters, Lagos. You can send us a comment on our social media platforms showing right on your screen. Join us next week on a fresh episode of the show. Many thanks for watching. I'm Benga Ashuru. Bye for now.